Why, hello YouTube. You may notice quite a soft voice today. I'm still very sick, but we've gotten on to read through the Manifesto anyway. So we're doing this live. I don't know how much longer I'll be live after the Manifesto reading, but we're going to keep a nice, low, soft voice for this one, just because it hurts my throat less. So, I have no predictions. I only have hopes. I only have 3 hopes, really. And that's that I really think Omniscience is a little bit too strong. I really want minions to get buffed because I'm sick of not being able to play my Spectre build. And I really don't want them to nerf my Deadeye. I really enjoyed my Deadeye last league. I'd like to be able to play that again. So I'm hoping that doesn't get nerfed, but it wasn't super popular, so I don't think it will. Those are the only 3 things I've got. That's it. Those are my 3 most important things. Path of Exile, Lake of Kalandra. Number of balance changes. These are not full patch notes. Okay, so we're gonna have that full patch notes later. Defense balance. Substantial changes to character defense in 3.16 had the desired effect of encouraging players to invest more heavily in character defense besides life stacking. We're happy with this direction. We'll be making further changes, making some of the most powerful defensive layers require more investment and improving diversity in defensive options. Good. I actually think that's good. Making a set of changes with this goal in 3.19. Also considering changes in further expansions to be refining these plans. Good. Good. I actually like that. Problem. Spell suppression is intended to be mostly accessible to characters on the right hand side of the passive skill tree. However, spell suppression values on items modifiers higher. Right, so they're concerned that I can reach 100% spell suppression from anywhere because you don't really need it on the tree. Solution. Reduce the value of spell suppression granted by items and increase the amount granted by the passive tree and a few other sources. Body armors and shields now roll half the amount. Yikes. Oh, half the amount at lowest. 22 from 34. Crafted version is down to, ooh. That is quite a bit lower. Okay. Eater of Worlds implicits down to 10 from 12. Good one to 12 from 15. Okay. Passives. Spell suppression of the center wheel now grants 4 instead of 3. Inevitable is now 15 instead of 12. Small passives now grant 8 instead of 6. Okay, this is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. Less reliant on gear, more reliant on the tree. I'm actually on board with this. This doesn't sound like huge buffs, but I mean, if you were already taking 2 wheels and they all had, and all up you had like 7 miners and they were all getting 2% extra per, there's 14, and then your 2 notables have, you know, an extra 5 or 10 or whatever on them. You know, that adds up. That's pretty reasonable. I'm actually okay with most of this. I'm not particularly worried when I read a manifesto about the exact numbers they're giving me. I'm more worried about the like overall theme of what they're trying to do. When it comes to reading a manifesto, that's more important to me. They're wanting a little less reliant on my gear and a little more reliant on the tree for spell suppression, trying to sort of limit it to the deck space people on that side, which I'm okay with. But That does mean I want other defenses available, because right now spell suppression is pretty important for everyone, and taking it away from people is fine as long as there are also other defenses given to those people, right? I do think it's good, but yeah. Right, dagger masteries, spell suppressions, yep. Right. Right, so basically every notable gets quite a bit more. Arctic armor does not grant enough defensive power to compete with other defensive reservation skills, particularly since a majority of its suppression is only while standing still. Solution: substantially increase the damage reduction while stationary provided by Arctic armor. You know, Arctic armor now grants 11 to 21% less physical damage with hits. Previously 8 to 13, and 20% less fire damage with hits previously. Here's the thing. I feel like this was the wrong solution. I fully agree with this, but how about you just make it, you just get rid of the line that says while stationary, and you just let Arctic armor be Arctic armor even while moving, because stationary kills you. That I feel like the solution was just, it was already had the right numbers. It was just stop making me stand still to get them. And I think that's fine, actually. Right? Like, I think those numbers would be fine. The original numbers would be fine if they just worked, instead of requiring me to stand still. Anyway. Welcome. Flesh and Stone is not powerful enough to warrant a 25% mana reservation. Slight improvements to the blind investment outlined below will naturally help it to some extent. But just a little more power is needed for it to be a competitive option. Increases the damage reduction from distant enemies. Ooh, by how much? Flesh and Stone now causes you to take 15% less damage from attacks from enemies that aren't nearby. Yeah. Meh. Probably still not going to use that. Defiance banner provides a substantial percentage increase to armor and evasion, on top of the other benefits for low investment. It therefore grants all characters a way to further scale large amounts of armor and evasion granted by the determination and grace skill. Right, but it was arguably, we've been way overusing Defiance banner anyway. I think Defiance banner wasn't really worth it in a lot of cases unless you are actually running determination and grace. I think we've been overusing it anyway. It also disproportionately benefits characters that do not have easy access to armor and evasion scaling on the passive tree, and combined with determination and grace, blah blah blah. Okay. Solution: substantially reduce the armor and evasion granted by Defiance banner. Defiance banner now grants you and nearby allies up to 24% instead of 49%. 40% reduced crit chance to nearby enemies though. Anomalous Defiance banner quality now grants 0.25% instead of 0.5%. I mean, like I said, in many cases, we were using it, and we really didn't need to be beforehand. Like, I might just not use Defiance banner, and I don't think it'll be a huge issue. See. We'll see. I still think Defiance banner might be worth it in certain cases. In cases where you have very little evasion and armor still off the tree at all, and you have both determination and grace and an evasion flask and an armor flask, and you're scaling both of them as much as you can, but you have very little on the tree, 24% might still be worth it when it applies to both, but it definitely won't be worth it if you're just running grace or if you're just running determination. I think if you're just an armor person or just an evasion person, probably not. Probably don't bother with the Defiance banner anymore. Wind Dancer, drawback of 20% more attacks. Too risky, of course. We never take that. Because it's trash. Solution. Change Wind Dancer to be less risky. Okay, what does it become? Wind Dancer Keystone passive no longer provides 40% more evasion rating if you have been hit by an attack recently. Instead, now provides 10% more chance to evade. What? What? Is there a typo here? Did they... Did they mean that we're going to remove the drawback? And then make it just 10% more instead of 40% more? But just get rid of the drawback? Just flat evade. 10% more chance to evade attacks instead of 40% more evasion rating. I feel like I'm still not going to use that. Isn't that still trash? No, that's still trash, man. I'm pretty sure that's still trash. Right, moving on from that one then. The arrow dancing Keystone. Penalty to melee. Chance feels too punishing. Even for characters with substantial investment, changes arrow dancing to provide a less extreme penalty but a less extreme bonus. No longer provides 40% chance to evade projectiles account or 20% less chance to evade melee. Instead now provides evasion rating is doubled against projectiles and 25% less against melee. I mean, this makes this now usable, but I wouldn't spend a single travel point to take it. Not a single one. You would have to already be there and then also have nothing else good to take with that point. I don't know if that's worth it still. Feels like something it feels like one of those things that I'd like throw in where I need 2 points to get to my next most important thing and I get a level. And like I could take the travel, or I might just take arrow dancing for a level. And then when I get the next level, I'll take it out and get the notable that I want or something. It sits in that position where it's like sort of worth a point if you can't get to something else more important, but like next level when you can reach another one, you probably, right? Like, like it's okay, but it's not meaningful. Ward is a relatively niche defensive mechanic. Currently, mainly strong when paired with Artheon's Resolve unique flask, and not worth investing with otherwise. Yeah, true. Reduce the base ward restoration time, which is already bypassed by that resolve, but a limiting factor for ward's usefulness in other characters. Allow builds to invest further in faster ward restoration if they desire. Ward is now instantly restored after 4 seconds, previously 5. Added 5 tiers of new suffixes, granting up to 58% faster. Oh man. So the big issue with this is, even if you can get this down to, I would say reasonably, you would get this to like 2.1 seconds, maybe even 2. Like, okay, you could min-max it further, but like reasonably you could get this to 2-ish, right? problem is any damage over time that you take resets that timer. The biggest problem with ward isn't that it takes 5 seconds or 4 seconds to recharge, it's that any amount of damage over time stops that timer from running. And there are 18 million cold snaps on the floor all the time, whose ward only works on the hits, but it doesn't regen while you're taking damage over time. Which is the problem. I don't know, this might be better though. If you can get that down to 2 seconds or under, that might actually be useful, especially for like evasion characters. Grasping Mail modifier that provided 100% increased global defenses provided too much value to a build heavily investing in defenses for a single mod. I disagree. Oh, okay, yellow. A prefix modifier that can roll on Grasping Mails, which provides increased, now has a value of 50%. I don't know if this problem is a real problem. I think this only was a problem because of recombinators and putting them on things, like on Valregalias and stuff. Like that was very, very strong, obviously. And the fracturing of it is, yeah, pretty, but like the modifier itself, I don't think is the actual problem. Problem, the Gravicious Veiled modifier for body armor that grants a percentage of your maximum life as energy shield is a huge amount of survivability for many builds with a low investment of a single benchcraft modifier. Granting energy shield to life-placed builds was often not valuable in the past. Those builds not having a sensible way to recover energy shield in combat. The recent addition of Ghost Dance and Divine Shield among other changes. Blah blah blah. Rework. Gravicious is a veiled modifier to instead grant a percentage of physical damage taken as fire and lightning. Really? No, Skin of the Lord is not a Grasping Mail. Gravicious' veiled body armor that grants 12 to 14% of your maximum life as an energy shield. It's been replaced with a modifier that grants 8 to 9% of physical damage from hits taken as fire and 8 to 9% of physical damage from hits taken as lightning. I'm sorry, when they say and, are we talking about the potential to have 18% physical damage taken as from just Gravicious's modifier? Because that's fucking insane. The crafting bench version as his modifier will be up to 6%. So 12 if it's both. If that's actually both, that's kind of insane. I definitely, when I started reading this, I expected them to be like, oh, the unveiled version will now be 10 max and the crafted version will be like 6 or something instead. I didn't think. Oh, it provides 3 to 4 and 4 to 6. No, those are the 2 tiers. Aren't those the 2 tiers? Yeah. All right. Problem. Passive skill that grants blind effect does not adequately reward investment in them. Increase the value of blind. I don't know that that matters at all. 40% increased effect instead of 30. Meh. Meh. Problem. Mind over matter builds that heavily invest in mana in general have been left in an understand powered state with various balance changes and increased power of reservation skills. As a first step, improve the base power of mind over matter. Pull that power out of body armor mods. We're aware that this change does not solve all problems currently facing mana builds, and are considering exactly what further changes to make. Okay. Mind over matter Keystone is now 40%, previously 30. Can no longer be rolled. Just influence, sent implicit, eldritch implicits. Cloak of Defiance doesn't exist now. Failed modifier. Grants less. Okay, I mean, this is... I mean... like, this sets them up a little bit to be able to do something with it, but they didn't do anything with it. This isn't really a nerf. This isn't really a buff. This is just a saying mind over matter's trash. We've edited it slightly. It's just as trash as it was. But now we are able to balance it somehow, but we haven't actually balanced it. We haven't actually done anything with it. There's no change here. Still don't use mom. But yeah, still don't use mom, but they're obviously working on it, but it's not there yet. That's a nothing. That's a preparation for doing something later. That's what that is. Fortification, difficult to gain on some melee builds and too frustrating to use in others. Just make a champion, lol. Make fortification easier to gain and last longer. Okay. Melee hits that can fortify now generate roughly twice as many fortification stacks as previous, based on damage dealt. Fortification generation against magic and rare monsters has been further increased.
Did I miss anything interesting so far?
Fiery, thank you for the 27 months. The base duration of fortification has been increased to 6 seconds, previously 5. The entry small passive of the steadfast cluster to increase fortification for fortifying hits now has 30% instead of 20. Top of the steadfast cluster and 2 small passives each provide 40% increased duration, previously 20. I'm not really a melee person.
Like money, please.
Yo. Thank you
Anonymous
for whoever bought the
Kirik's
Kirak's
Vault
Vault
Pass
Pass. Alright, I'm not sure. I don't play the melee builds that suffer from this. But I'm like thinking in my head about like Cyclone versus an Uber boss or whatever. And I'm just looking at these and I'm like, if you weren't fortifying before, you're probably still not now. I don't know if this is enough, but I would have to get an opinion from someone who actually plays those builds. Not me. It's not me. I don't know enough about them. I don't know if this fixes the problem or not, or helps or not. Wait, thank you very much for the prime. Minion balance. Oh, please don't fuck this up. Come on. Come on, baby. Path of Exiles, blah, blah, blah. The overall goal to improve variety and viability of minion builds. Okay. Problem. There are limited options to invest in minion related stats on player gear. I'm sorry, what? That's not true at all. Their base stats have to be inflated to compensate. This leads to most minion builds caring too little about itemization. That's not true at all. And also limits the potential to scale high-end minion builds with better. This entire problem is not true. This is just factually wrong from head to toe. This whole what? Lower minion base life and damage, but provide more ways for players to invest into minions on their own gear, allowing minion damage and survivability to each be higher than previously possible for a character with strong items. They mean that you mainly scaled it one way with levels. Okay, but that's not true. There are ring mods, and there are chest mods, and there are belt mods, and there are helmets, and there are weapons, and there are shields, and there are charges, and there are so many things. There are so many things. Details. Oh my god. The damage and life scaling values for minions have been adjusted. These affected all minions other than raised specters. So the damage of an animate guardian, animate weapon, blink, and mirror arrow minions were also unaffected as they gain their damage from items instead. Generally speaking, minion life and damage is unchanged in the very early game and roughly 30% lower in the mid-axe and roughly 20% lower at level 20 of the minion skill and roughly 10% lower at level 30 of the minion skill. Base life and damage of the minions are not associated with the skill gems have been adjusted. What? What do you mean? I'm sorry, you made up a fake problem that was a lie and then fixed it by nerfing minions that were already shit? What is happening here? Who hates minions? Who over at GDG hates minions? What's going on? The level of monsters created by the raised Spectre skill gem has been lowered. Again? 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 This is the 4th time. What do you mean? They're already trash. Calm down. Remains unchanged at level 1. Now creates level 70 monsters at gem level 20. Previously 72. And a level 67 monster at level 25. Previously 77. Added a new ring base type, bone ring. This ring has implicit minion elemental resistance modifier and can roll minion related modifiers. Bone, ivory, fossilized, and spirit shields now have minions deal increased damage. Implicits. You can now roll minion related modifiers. Okay. As a result of the implicit changes, and Storm unique and Lacewood Spirit. Ah, yeah. Moved bases. Moved uniques off it. Okay. Added 2 new wand item types, a calling wand and a covening wand. These are level 20 and level 50 equivalents of the convoking wand. Okay, well, this is the first note that's actually good. Some of the new minion related modifiers have been added to the available pools for these ones. Some existing modifiers have been adjusted and made more common. This is good, at least. Elements can no longer roll +1 to 3 level of socketed minion gems. Instead, they can now roll +1 to 2 to level of all minion skill gems. The vendor recipe for a helmet with +1 to level of minion gems modifier has been replaced with a new recipe. Happy hunting. It is now possible to obtain +2 level of socketed minion gems as a corrupted implicit on helmets, body armor, boots, and gloves. Oh. Ghastly Eye jewels have had their modifier pool updated. Updated to what? Indomitable army no longer has minions have 15% increased maximum life. Small passives now provide 8% instead of resistances. Okay. Listen, minions were already in a pretty bad place overall with some very specific exceptions. Like basically two. There were 2 things you could play. And this feels like a nerf to everything. But here's the thing. This is another, it doesn't feel like a nerf to everything as much as it feels like preparation to fix stuff to work better, but just stuff that they're halfway through again. But obviously I'm going to keep reading. Everyone calm the fuck down. We have comments to make on each part as we go. Not just going to stop. But this does feel like just a lot of preparation for stuff that'll happen later. Right? Because they always do this. Like they always do. They've got a habit of doing things that look bad and look like nerfs and they look like they're not thought out properly, but then like the next patch is the other half of what they were planning and together it looks great, right? But sometimes for 3 months for one league everyone's sitting there scratching their heads going what the hell. Like that's what happens to Flasks a few leagues ago, and I was on the boat of actually this is a great change, it's just not finished yet, but it's a great change, you're gonna love it. And then the next month they brought out the other half of the Flask change and everyone was like, yay, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, no, I told you so. This feels like the same thing. All right. Some minion skills are clear outliers in terms of inherent power, so become the default choice. Yep. Okay. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, sweet Jesus. Why so many? Why so many? Absolution Sentinels now deal approximately 25% less damage at level 1. Scaling up to approximately 5% less damage at level 20. Wait, it got 5% less damage at level 20. But it got more radius? And more crit. And 180% damage effectiveness. Wait, didn't Absolution just get better? Okay. Animate Guardians now deal a little bit more damage. up to quite a bit more damage. Hey, I wonder if we can get away with that one animate guardian build now, because that's really fun. Really fun, just not strong enough. 16. Animate weapon just costs more mana. Demil, thank you very much for the prime. Alikari's Fang has a base poison duration of 4 instead of 8. No longer has 25% Fizz's extra chaos. Looks like Alikari's dead. Looks like Alikari's Fang is dead. Herald of Agony. Herald of Agony got buffed. Herald of Purity. Meh. Phantasms deal approximately 20% more damage at all levels. And twice the chance to summon them. Gem no longer grants movement speed. What does it grant instead? Yeah, Summon Phantasm just for like Act 1 for everyone. We were already using that. Like you would use it on like a flame totem or something. That just got more powerful for generic Act 1 leveling. Okay. Now it's 30% more base life at all levels. Okay. Same for all my golems. Oh no. Oh no. Stone Golem, gem quality no longer grants 20% increased minion life. Now it's 20% more base life at all levels. Now a 0% increased minion life at level 1, previously 30 up to 38, previously 68. So we lose like 50% increased damage, but gain 20 increased life, but gain 20% more. I don't know if this ends up being more base life or less, but it'll be okay. Either way. It'll be okay. Golem will now be able to use its Mortar spell against targets in close range. Mortar spell has additional damage effectiveness of 200%. Previously 100. Cone Stone deals 30% more damage at all levels. Huh. You were never going to start. I was never going to. No. It's not a build for me. The question is, can I still suggest it for the people who do like that style of league starts? The people who are playing explosive arrow totems and shit like that. Like it's that play style of people. And I think the answer is yes. I think it'll still be perfectly fine. Holy Relic spell now has a 250% effective damage at all levels. Previously scaling up to 146. Now grants 50% more life regeneration to allies and minions at all gem levels. Cool. Holy Relic. Holy Relic's already pretty decent, not gonna lie. Summon Raging Spirits no longer has minions gain 15% less added damage. Okay, previously 0, they get 38% more damage. Base life is now 20% higher at all levels. Plus 4 mana up to 16, previously 12. Okay. And a better enchant for it. That. I wonder if SRS is going to be. SRS is already kind of like borderline good and just kind of underplayed. This might make SRS. This might make SRS good. I'll be curious to see how SRS goes this league. Summon skeletons. No longer gain 50% more added damage. Skeletal mages now deal approximately 5% less damage at level 1. Scaling up to 25% less damage at level 20. Now costs more mana as well. Just skipped Reaper. I'm only reading the minions that matter. Skeletal mages feel pretty bad now. What the fuck is Von Narich March? I don't even know what that is. Oh wait, they're those boots that give you those little... Yeah, okay, yeah. That's alright. Because minions are monsters, they inherit some stats from monsters. Good choices power, as these are not detailed anywhere in the game. Cause confusion. Rendering minion ailment builds near impossible, except for minions specifically designed around them. Large damage bonus granted to minions by frenzy and power charges. Also crowd out alternative options. With necrotic aegis and utility focused specters. This was never a thing you... Anyway. Solution. Split monster sets, blah, 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 blah. Details. Minions no longer have hidden penalties to bleed, ignite, and poison. Ooh. As a result, minions now deal twice as much poison damage, 3.5 times as much ignite damage, and 7 times as much bleeding damage. Minions now gain the same bonuses from endurance, frenzy, and power charges as players do. Oh. 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 Well, that's a very significant nerf. That is a very, very significant nerf. This alone, frenzy and power charges, basically nearly halves the damage of every minion build you've ever played. This is the largest nerf that I've read so far. That's fucked. That's... Whew. Alright, next problem. Investing in minion critical strike has been possible in a very niche manner for some time now. Is never fully supported build option. Kinda is. Removal of a large amount of potential critical strike from power charge. Oh yeah, actually. Losing the power charges is huge. Solution, add more critical strike investments. Okay. How? Spirit offering skill gem no longer grants elemental or chaos resistance to minions. No longer causes minions to gain a percentage of their physical damage as extra chaos. And instead now grants minions 110% increased critical strike chance up to 148. Ooh. It also grants them up to 39 crit multi. The Fearsome Force passive skill no longer grants minion area of effect. There's now a large class star. Grants crit and crit multi. Crit chance mastery is now area. Okay. The minion modifiers mentioned above include a family of minion critical strike chance multipliers available on wands and shields. And a family of minion critical strike multiplier modifiers on wands. Okay. The Necromancer's unnatural strength notable was extremely strong for almost all minion builds due to how well minions scale with gem levels. Skill which made it hard to justify using any other ascendancy for minion builds. I actually 100% agree with this. There should never have been a +2 level to all minion ascendancy. That just, it guaranteed that practically every minion build had to be a Necromancer, and that was stupid. Man. Change our natural strength to provide less universally applicable stat and allow more access to minion gem levels on items instead. The Necromancer's unnatural strength is no longer provides +2 to all minion skill gems. It now instead grants minions unholy might. What? That's really fucking bad, man. That went from generic to all minions to very specific niche minions might want this, but then even if they did, I can get unholy might so many other ways. Oh my god, this is so bad. This is falling in the same cat. Somebody at GGG just absolutely hates minions. Like, there'll be some specific minions that still want this, and it'll be great for them. But in general, this is overall useless. Alright. Skills that causes corpse explosions, especially that scale ignite. Currently able to deal. Yep. So they're fixing the DD bug. Fine. We knew that was coming. We definitely knew that was coming. Skills that cause corpses explosions have much of their damage from scaling the increased maximum corpse life, mostly from skills on the passive tree. Pressures builds utilizing these skills to choose Necromancer Ascendancy class. To provide a large value of this stat, it means the corpses of enemies you kill are not useful for damage compared to corpses you spawn yourself. True. Life deltas damage But the skill does not scale with skill levels. No sufficient incentive to level them up. True. Solution. Remove the increased maximum corpse life from Necromancer ascendancy and reduce the values available elsewhere. Increase the percentage of corpse life dealt as damage for all corpse explosion skills to offset this substantial damage loss. Man, they really hate Necromancer. Necromancer's just getting worse and worse the longer I read through here. Corpse Pack Necromancer Ascendancy passive no longer has 50% increased maximum life of corpses you spawn. Small notables are now 5% instead of 10. That's Phantasmal. Gives half the amount of that, okay. Detonate Dead now has explosion deals fire damage equal to 6% of the corpse's maximum life at level 1. Up to 7.9% at level 20. Okay. Alright. Val, Detonate Dead, same shit? Yep, cool. Oh, except previously 9% at all levels. Wait. On top of all that, they nerfed the Val version of Detonate Dead, as well as like nerfing all the corpses and everything like that. Fucking hilarious. Detonate Dead's done. Done. Cremation. As explosions deal damage equal to 4%, up to 5%. Okay, so it gains like 1% more. Eh. Volatile Dead. Explosion deals base fire damage equal to 3% at level 1 up to 4% at level 20. Previously 3% at all levels. I really want to use Volatile Dead. It's my actual, one of my favorite skills. Body swap now has an explosion deal 6% up to 7.9. Yep, cool. Now gains additional radius. Okay, cool, whatever. Body swap's a thing. Okay, let's see. When fire traps hit, damage was buffed in 3.17. The damage over time of its burning ground was also unintentionally buffed. Okay. So, like a 25% nerf to fire trap. I didn't think fire trap was that high up in the... I didn't think fire trap was really like that high up. It's really just righteous fire that, yeah. That's fine though. Cooldown based traps are balanced around being mostly single target damage supplement with the potential to be used more frequently on builds with heavily invested, blah blah blah. Okay, what'd you do? Advanced trap no longer has that. Hasty reconstruction. Flamethrower trap now deals 366 instead of 319. Lightning Spire now deals 713 instead of 622. Wait, where does it say seismic nerf? Wait, did you just say, okay, we'll give Flamethrower and Lightning Spire a little more, and then we'll just And we'll just be like, just a cooldown? That's... I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's enough, man. I don't even know if that's enough to bring Seismic out of number 1. Whoever's... And if anyone from GGG is watching this, please hit Seismic a little bit harder than this. I don't want to play it again. It's been like the best build for like a year and a half. Like, it's time. Get rid of it. Like, halve its damage or something. I don't know. Do that thing you do where you nerf something from like 7 different directions and everyone goes, what the fuck? This is completely dead now. This is one of those times. Please do that. Alright. Explosive Arrow currently has a single stat for hit and ailments. Makes it impossible to reduce the damage of the overperforming ignite builds without affecting the underperforming hit builds. Split the damage and ailments in half. It no longer deals 5% more with everything. Instead, it now deals 6% more damage with hits and 3% more damage with ailments. I actually kind of like that approach. I think this is fine. It's definitely a nerf. Like, it definitely makes it not as good the way it was ran, but it also makes my... I might start with the EA Raider that I ran in that BPL. I really enjoyed that. Okay. This is actually kind of fine. I'm on board with this. When the spell-based damage values were methods of triggering spells with the powers, blah blah blah. Increase the damage penalty of cast when damage taken support and reduce the damage bonus. Oh. Up to 27% less damage for cast when damage taken at level 20, previously 6%. Really? Cast when damage taken builds get nerfed by 27%? Well, more than that actually. Like, what is that, like 35% or something? Here's the thing. Weren't most of them already doing like 55 million damage? Aren't they just now doing 35 million damage? Be like, oh well. Like, it's probably still fine. Cast on death, however. I mean, that one cast on death build is probably fine too, even at half the damage, to be honest. The anomalous alt quality cast on death makes it too easy to guarantee a quick... Ooh. Okay. Alright, whatever. Prevent life as over... Divine Blessing is intended to allow characters to reach... Oh no. Oh no. Divine Blessing life tap. They're fixing it, aren't they? Blessing can no longer be supported by life tap. Minus 150% aura from everybody. blessing now. Okay. Alright. That's a pretty rough hit. That's a pretty rough hit, but also quite often forgot to press the button anyway. Sniper's Mark provided a large amount of power to projectile builds. It also provides powerful flask generation. Generating life flask charges in particular. Blah blah blah. Solution: remove the life and mana flask generation from Sniper's Mark. Is that it? Okay. That feels like a pointless change that no one's going to notice, but sure. Problem: Hydrosphere was previously commonly used to provide extra single target hit, however. Cooldown was added in 3.17, but this cooldown isn't necessarily per entity. Hydrosphere still provided an enormous damage bonus, cases where many different entities were hitting it, most notably minion builds. Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, luckily you just gutted minion builds anyway, so no one's gonna run that. It's not gonna be a problem. The path of Exile's constant evolution. There are sometimes skills and support gems that are left feeling underwhelming and underused. Carry out routine balance paths on underperforming skills. Artillery ballistas better. Blazing salvo. Now at 405 instead of 361. 60% effectiveness instead of 55. Blazing salvo was already really good. Cleave with a little more radius. Crackling lance, whatever. Decoy totem, whatever. Devouring totem, whatever. Energy blade now has a two-handed energy blade. It's cool. Firestorm has an impact every 0.15. Haste now grants 10% increased movement speed and 15% attack and cast speed at level 1. Up to 15%. Yo. Maybe I start running haste. I like running fast. Reeve gets a bit better. Rejuvenation totem. Scorching ray. Shock Nova. Okay. Soul Rend now deals 31 to 37. Soul Rend's quite a bit better. Spell Slinger now grants added spell damage equal to 60% of the wand at level 1. Up to 174. Spell Slinger? Can I make a Spell Slinger, please? Is this enough? Please? I would like to be a Spell Slinger. I have 2 plans for spell slinging already. Volatile Dead, super fun, and Eye of Winter. Those are the 2. Probably going to be Eye of Winter, but those are the 2 straight away. Super excited about those. blah blah blah. Okay, I don't care about any of the rest of them. I mean, I guess like Sunder's better. Waves travel 60% faster. That's cool. Miscellaneous ascendancy problems. Trickster's ascendancy class is completely trash. Rework the Trickster ascendancy class. Details will be shared in the reveal. Okay. Problem. Juggernaut's unbreakable. Skills. Overly complicated. Into 2 more powerful skills. Okay. Regenerate 2 life per second. 5% reduced damage taken. Or 1.5% physical damage prevented from hits and last 10 seconds. Regenerates life. Now grants 8% of your armor applies to elemental damage. Huh. Added a new notable 40% increased life regeneration rate and 1.5% of physical damage prevented from hits. Regenerator's life. Okay. Interesting. Problem. Doesn't provide enough. Okay, so we're just upping chieftains 1 node to deal 100% more damage with slams instead of 50. Eh. Pathfinder Master Alchemist is still quite weak. I'm pushing them towards chaos-based builds. Yep. Add more power to muscle. Partially compensate by removing a strenuous power. Pathfinder Master Alchemist notable. No longer grant 20% chance to freeze, shock, and ignite during any flask. Now instead it causes magic utility flasks applied to you to 20% increased effect. Okay. Nature's Boon no longer has 6% reduced elemental damage. Okay. Unique item balance. Crystallized Omniscience and Ashes of the Star are powerful, unique amulets that have both been adopted by a wide variety of builds since their introduction in Siege of the Atlas. However, while Ashes of the Star is a relatively standalone item that enhances the individual strength of a build, Crystallized Omniscience encourage players to devote a substantial portion of their build power towards stacking attributes. It also makes it easy to do so by providing elemental resistances, which would otherwise compete for spaces with attributes on your items. This reduces the diversity of itemization across a wide variety of elemental builds. Okay. Lower the amount of elemental penetration and resistance granted by Crystallized Omniscience, with the aim of it still being powerful, but not the ideal choice for such a large variety of builds. A 50% nerf? Ooh. Is that a 50% nerf or is that a 33% nerf? Pretty sure it's a 50% nerf. You now need 50% more investment to reach the exact same amount. Yeah. Look, I did say I wanted it nerfed a little. I don't know if this is too far or not. It'll still be real powerful though, but only when you've got disgustingly good gear. I feel like there's going to be not any any like lower. There's not going to be like any lower geared people using it, right? All right, what else you got? Melding of the Flesh. Yeah, we knew this was coming. It transfers your highest maximum elemental resistance to your other ones. Come with a substantial penalty base resist. Extremely powerful item. Add a penalty to the maximum elemental resists. The Melding of Flesh. Forcing builds that want to reach 90% to commit more to reaching it. So it now has -4. So you have to invest more to get 4 extra max res. Okay, that's still doable. It's definitely more investment. And melding will still be good if you only get to like 88. I think this is okay. I think you'll find a lot more people sitting around 88 instead of 90. Getting to 90 is still going to be possible, but I think you'll see 87 and 88 a lot more commonly, which I think is probably fine. Miscellaneous character and item balance. The base critical strike chance provided by Brittle Ailment serves as an enormous effective damage boost to builds. It does. There's more methods, blah blah blah. Brittle has begun to overshadow other ailments. Has begun to. Okay. Okay, guys, Brittle has just begun to overtake other ailments. Just starting out. Okay. Brittle ailment. Now gets 6% chance, previously 15. Woo. Base value of 2, previously 5. I don't know if that's worth giving up shock. Well, that'll be interesting. We'll see. The introduction of reservation efficiency encourages a much larger range of builds to invest in reservations to a small or moderate degree. This is not a problem in itself, but currently the options for doing so are similar in every build and provide slightly too much generic power relative to the investment required. Reservation mastery options are the biggest outliers in power, as they provide a larger amount of power. It's hard and notable, yep. Solution: remove the mana reservation efficacy mastery and reduce the power of the aura effect on life reservation efficacy masteries. Oh. The reservation mastery that granted 15% increased mana reservation fee has been removed. Reservation mastery that grants increased life reservation now has 20% instead of 30. Reservation mastery that causes auras to have Increased effect on you is now 10% instead of 15. This feels very unnecessary. This feels very unnecessary. I disagree. The line of flask modifiers that grant flask charges when you are hit by an enemy makes it too easy to keep your flasks up permanently for most non-boss content. Lower the value. 1, 2, and 3 instead of 4, 6, and 7. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. The Veiled. A craft of modifiers that causes skills to cost no mana or life while focused. They actually got rid of it. Oh, skills cost no life or mana. No longer available. Yep, okay. Okay. Timeless Jewel exclusive Chainbreaker Keystone was too difficult to use. Solution rework Chainbreaker. Leaning into rage as a resource in a more extreme manner. Remove the potentially unwanted interaction with other sources of rage generation. Okay. It now grants 1 rage regenerated for every 25 mana per second. Mana recovery from regeneration is not applied and the skill is +3 rage. I don't even really know what this means, to be honest. I don't deal with rage or attack builds. Go to someone who actually plays melee to know what the fuck's going on there. Damage taken recouped as life is a relatively new recovery option. Not currently enough sources of it available for players who wish to invest heavily. Incrementally improve availability of these stats by adding it to jewel modifier pools. Okay. Crimson Meridian and Cobalt jewels could now roll 4 to 6% of damage taken recouped as life as a suffix. Okay. This includes this list of changes and potentially more. A bit more detail about some areas, such as improvement to the Trickster Ascendancy class, will be revealed in the announcement live stream next week. Okay. Alright. Okay, so overall, I think I'm still happy with this whole list. But it does feel like some of these changes are only half done. Like the entire minion section feels like a rejiggering of things so that they can buff them in other ways, but they haven't buffed them in the other ways yet. Like, with the exception of summon raging spirits, which I think might actually be good, everything else looks like it's going to be worse than before, and they were already bad. They were already bad, and it looks like they're going to be worse. Maybe Holy Relic might be okay too, but just like overall, minions in a pretty bad place here. But it really feels like a setup to make them good through other methods that just didn't finish happening. What they didn't do really at all was break my Deadeye or my Raider those were like the two things that I was thinking about playing. They also didn't appear to break support bots really at all. We've missed 15% IRMR But that's fine. It can be dealt with. I think most of this is in a good direction. I'm a little disappointed that Seismic Trap hasn't been hit harder. Maybe there's something in the patch notes that come out a little later that hit Seismic Trap a little harder than that. I don't want to see Seismic Trap played at all. I want it properly gutted. Otherwise, overall, I think pretty happy, and I'm happy with the directions. I'm going to give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Like, it's everything's sort of in the right direction. Some of it's not quite finished. I'm not ecstatically happy about it, but I do think it's all generally in the positive direction. Right? Like a 5 would be average. I think this is better than average, but not by a lot. So I'm happy overall. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. All right. For the people on YouTube, we will see all of you later.